This episode is brought to you by Cryptid Crate. Visit CryptidCrate.com, enter our promo code GRAMPUS, that's GRAMPUS, at checkout for 20% off on your first monthly box. So you might be asking, what is Cryptid Crate? Well, good listener, Cryptid Crate is a monthly subscription box filled with various cryptozoology and paranormal-themed items to wear, display, and collect. You can expect a carefully curated box filled with the creeptastic pieces from indie makers and artisans pertaining to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, ghosts, and other cryptid and mysterious creatures. So again, be sure to visit CryptidCrate.com and enter our promo code at checkout. That promo code is GRAMPUS, GRAMPUS, to get 20% off your first monthly box. Christopher, good sir. Cue the creepy music. Welcome to the Cryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is...
Hi, Mark. I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris, I'm Mark.
Hey, guys, this is Rob Morphy.
Hey, Rob,
Hey, Rob,
I'm Mark.
Chris. That's Mark.
Hey, good to see you guys. Good to be here. Good to be back. Back in Chris's Sweet Kitchen.
Yeah.
With the mics. With the recorder. Doing a podcast.
So you're literally going to list everything that's around us right now.
With drinks that my kid gave us because he wants us to be hydrated.
Some low-calorie...
low-calorie Gatorade, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Okay, so top of the show, as always, find us on the social medias. I have a blast talking to our listeners in the socials. They are a fun bunch of people. I enjoy it. Great conversations. Tons of awesome information, too, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So hit us up. It's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look up The Cryptonaut Podcast. We're there. Follow us. We'll follow you back.
Absolutely.
We'll talk. We'll hang out. Be sure to rate and review the show on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, and we have a review.
Love those.
A 5-star review. The title is Nick A., written by Arachnid Master.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it.
We have a master of spiders?
I do. Master of puppets or master of spiders. What are you going to do?
Oh,
Master!
In all fairness, it's cooler to master spiders. Great album. Mastering puppets is just a horrible thing because you have to keep puppets around.
Yeah,
true. But if you're the master of them, then you have to worry about it.
Yeah, but things can go wrong. What if you have a bad dream and then they start doing their own thing?
I don't think it
we
works
all
that
saw
way.
Star Wars. Do we know the master and apprentice relationship does not work?
No,
out?
I'm thinking an actual puppet master.
Oh, old school puppet master.
Like you make these things, and then all of a sudden they're just doing their own shit after a while.
So Arachnid Master has this to say. He says, "This is one of my favorite podcasts, even though it is super new. I emailed the guys a show suggestion and was pleasantly surprised to hear back super quickly. I appreciate all the hard work that is put into creating such thorough content, while still keeping things funny and maintaining a genuine connection with the listeners. P.S. It was definitely a blimp."
See?
I was with you until that moment,
Yes.
Spider Master.
Yes, and actually, too, with what Nick emailed for a show suggestion, we do have some things coming up for that. So
excellent.
The way that we plan our pods out generally is we try to get a list of stuff together. So right now we have like 3 working lists, I believe.
Yes, we
do.
do.
We try to rotate back and forth so that we're not too crypto, we're not too alien, we're not too paranormal heavy. We try to balance it.
By our own inclination, a little crypto heavy.
We get a little crypto.
Well,
That's,
absolutely.
Yeah, but
it's called Cryptonaut.
What he sent us will definitely fit in with what we got going on. So yeah, thank you for the email. Thank you for the review. Very much appreciated. This week, we're taking a trip.
Where are we going?
To Alabama.
God
we're talking about the Falkville Metal Man.
Alabama.
Yes.
I confused you. Like,
I'm like,
what did you say?
What is Chris saying? Okay, so here we go. While reports of alien encounters seem to be a dime a dozen, there are very few photos of what eyewitnesses purported to be the actual extraterrestrial being that they made contact with. The case of the Falkville Metal Man is one of those rare exceptions, and to make things even more intriguing, the pictures were taken by none other than the police chief who'd been sent out to investigate a UFO landing and got much more than he bargained for. Robert,
Cray,
take it away.
On the evening of October 17, 1973, at approximately 10 p.m., the 26-year-old chief of police of Falkville, Alabama, Jeff Greenhaw, was watching television with his wife when he received an emergency phone call. Little could he have imagined at the time that his life was about to be changed. For how long? Anyone want to guess?
forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
It's
always
a matter
eternal.
of minutes.
Like an Uncle Jesse forever?
Yeah.
It's just forever. Like, it was going in one trajectory. This was his life.
Right.
This call happens.
Eternity.
He does certain things.
Eternity.
It's forever left.
Okay.
He's
All right.
forever going left.
It's never like, my life was changed for 6,000 years until I got my shit together.
Yeah.
No.
It's never
I've had my
never
life
7.5 weeks.
I've had
Yeah.
my life change for like 2 days, and then
Yeah.
life goes back to normal.
But guess what? I'm not
Yeah.
going to write about that.
Those are kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that's
little-
if you
like
see a
little
dirty,
vacation.
shitty movie and it bothers you for a day or two. Then you get over
Yeah,
it.
we've all seen that movie.
No, it's either that or forever.
It's pretty much it.
Beyond the grave,
all right.
into the
The
next dimension.
call was from a nearly hysterical and to this day anonymous woman who claimed that a flying saucer had landed just outside of town in a field that was owned by Bobby Summerford.
Nice.
That's not going to be important later on. It's just a fact.
Okay, Bobby owns the field.
Yep. Although he was exhausted and off-duty, Greenhaw, abiding by his sworn oath to protect and serve, pulled himself up, snagged his keys, cuffs, revolver, and almost as an afterthought, his Polaroid camera on the off chance that there might be something worth taking a shot of. He then hopped into his pickup, radioed the call into dispatch, and took off toward the location of the alleged UFO landing. When Greenhaw arrived at the scene, he got out of his truck and patrolled the area, but claimed that he found nothing out of the ordinary. The chief then returned to his vehicle and decided to take one last drive around the field before calling it a night and returning home. Greenhaw cruised the perimeter of Summerford's property, scanning for anything unusual, but saw nothing of note in the darkness. Then he turned down a narrow gravel path for one final pass. That was when he came face to face with the unknown. After traveling about 100 yards down the trail, Greenhaw spied an entity that he described as a humanoid figure standing next to the road about 75 feet away. The chief got out of his truck and carefully approached the silvery figure that was now brilliantly illuminated by his truck's high beams. Anxiously, Greenhaw shouted to his odd companion, but it did not respond. The being then made a jerky, almost mechanical movement, which the officer surmised may have been due to an injury. So it's got this weird spasm, which no one needs to see. When you see a highly reflective humanoid figure at a distance, the last thing you need is a little herky-jerky
Is it one of those
spasm.
weird, like, ring fast motion things?
That's how I imagine it. I don't know.
Well, back then, anything faster than normal human is probably fast.
Yeah,
But
true.
People were, physically slower back then. They didn't run as fast as they do now.
Yeah, and they were about 3.5 feet shorter.
Yeah,
and
gravity.
they all floated
Gravity
7 inches above the
gravity
ground.
on Earth changed.
Let's just make up facts now.
well, that's the America we live in.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Afraid that this individual may be in need of assistance, Greenhaw continued his approach. Are we quite done messing with the facts?
You made me laugh. Good job.
Come on now.
You're funny.
But when he got to within 15 feet of the being, the chief realized that something was not right. What Greenhaw had first assumed was an adult wearing some kind of protective suit made from thick aluminum foil was, in actuality, a necklace, child-sized being with what he thought might be metallic flesh or perhaps a movable outer casing. I guess that means something like a robot with a flexible shell. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I know what those words specifically mean, but not in a
it's hard
sentence.
to ascertain exactly. He also noted that the thing had an antenna sticking out from the top of its head. Greenhaw began to wonder if the thing he was looking at was even alive in a conventional sense, or if perhaps he was gazing at some sort of mechanized man. He later described what he saw. This is a quote directly. It looked like his head and neck were kind of made together. He was real bright, something like rubbing mercury on nickel. Something I've never...
That's a weird...
Does he mean...
I'm not familiar with that.
Maybe
you mean like the
rubbing
fluid
mercury?
Like if you have like mercury
right,
from
on
like
a nickel the
thermometer
coin or on nickel
the
metal?
yeah. Which
Well, if mercury in a liquid state hits
Who
anything,
the fuck uses mercury to rub on anything?
dude,
ever?
this was back in the day, dude. People people
die.
floated.
That's how you die when you float.
Well,
right.
that's why people
that's all
don't
they
live
had
so
for their
long.
like thermometers and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So mercury.
that's why you don't.
So you crack a thermometer to fucking use it to clean your pile of nickel.
I kind of have a recollection of my dad telling me, or maybe my grandfather telling me that they used to play with mercury all the time. And he's still alive. He was like in his 80s.
I have to feel like
Smokes
if you're
like
a
a
kid,
champ.
and maybe back then, and you knew something you shouldn't do was in a thing that you clearly had access to.
Then you did it.
Most people fucking
Like
fucked
we
with
had
that.
asbestos.
Well, sure.
We still have asbestos.
Our local high school was closed for a
Yeah,
year.
back in the day, playing in asbestos, smoking asbestos.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Licking
totally.
it. Our popsicles were made of asbestos.
Bong hits with
Yeah, everything
asbestos.
was. We did bowls of
Yes, we had
asbestos.
bowls of asbestos. Exactly. At Bull Point. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So regardless
Nickel aside.
of what he was doing with mercury and nickel, he went on to say its skin was as smooth as glass, but different angles coming of light from his headlamps. Different angles gave different lighting. It didn't take long for the shocked officer to realize that he was dealing with something entirely beyond his experience, and pushing panic aside, he had the presence of mind to lift his instant camera and shoot 4 photographs of the entity in question. The first Polaroid shows nothing but darkness and a flash of silver, but the next 3 images hit the proverbial jackpot. In the photos, one can clearly see what is either a robot, a silver-skinned humanoid, or a figure wearing a wrinkly metallic suit, which reflected the flash from the Polaroid's bulb. Startled by the flashbulb's intensity, or perhaps believing that it was being attacked by a human with some kind of light beam weapon, the Metal Man promptly turned and began sprinting across the field at speeds, according to Greenhaw, far in excess of those capable by human beings. Greenhaw noted that the being seemed to be heading in the general direction of Lacan, or Lacone, I might be mispronouncing, I apologize if I am, the general direction of Lacan, which is about 3 miles away from Falkville. The chief reacted swiftly to the Metal Man's attempt to escape, darting back to his truck and taking off across the field in hot pursuit, hoping to recapture or at least re-engage with this potential UFO pilot. Greenhaw would later testify that due to the rough terrain of the field, he could only manage to accelerate his truck to about 35 miles per hour, but he was still completely outrun by this unusual entity, which, much like West Virginia's blood-sucking vegetable man,
Oh, we know
which
that
we
guy.
all know and love,
Yeah, it's our buddy.
seemed to be able to defy conventional laws of gravity with its incredible speed and spectacular leaps. Again, a quote from Greenhaw. He ran in a bizarre way. Seemed to have springs in his feet for propulsion. Could cover about 3 meters in every way. He was running faster than any human I ever saw.
The hell is a meter?
About 3 feet.
It's about a yard.
A little less. Yeah,
Okay.
a yard and a meter are
Ish.
virtually
Yeah.
interchangeable. Go metric, dude. Go metric.
I've been trying for years, but the country doesn't want to go with me.
I know. We really all should.
We should.
It would take me a minute to figure it out.
5/16 of an inch.
So here's the weird thing.
Raj.
It's a metallic suit or a robot
Yeah.
or something. We're going to get into all that in a minute. But what, especially wearing a bulky outfit, can make, jumps, of that?
If it's some sort of like exosuit, possibly.
True.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
And he did say it was child size,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
means
It's
I don't
smaller
know
than-
what that
it's
means exactly. 3 to 4 feet.
Yeah, I think 4.5 feet might be an
what the size of like a
approximation.
5th grader, maybe?
And
I
3
don't-
meters,
it's not
tiny,
3 meters,
you know.
you're talking like
Maybe,
a little
yeah.
under 9 feet. So it's jumping approximately 9 feet in any direction and running faster than 35 miles per hour in a rough hewn field, and it's about 3.5 to 4 feet tall,
Okay.
and evidently made of metal.
Springs in its feet?
Well, that was his suggestion. Kind of
Right.
reminds you of Spring-Heeled Jack and some other things, but
Or if
Let's get
if
back.
it is a propulsion, how it's it's boosting and landing and boosting and landing.
and let's be
we
honest,
call that the Boba Fett.
You can call it the Boba
Yeah.
Fett, but you can also call it the moon landing, because if this thing isn't from Earth and its gravity, at least the gravity it's accustomed to, is much stronger
Yeah, if
than
it's
what we're
heavier.
accustomed
Yeah.
to, then this thing could hop like this
Sure.
the way we could on a planet that has less gravity.
The alleged moon.
There's nothing alleged
Son
about
of
the
a
fucking
bitch.
moon, dude.
Listen.
The moon, whether or not you want to believe in the moon landing, and we will definitely go there at some point, you cannot deny the existence of the fuck-sucking moon.
We all have ideas about what the moon really is.
That's fair.
okay.
I have some unconventional
There's not
theories
even
regarding the
anything
moon.
really saying it's there besides we see it.
At the very least, it's
No.
a screen being projected on from somewhere in Minnesota. What? All right, no, I'm not going there.
It's a super screen.
I'm not doing it. I can't do this right
Been
now.
there since the dawn of man, but whatever. There's no proof.
The earliest projectionist ever.
Jesus. Actually, yeah, I'm sorry, pre-dawn of man. Fuck's sake. Dinosaurs saw that bitch.
Or did they?
I don't know. I can't wait to find the footage. What? There's one dinosaur that's smart and is like, "Hello, future." You're like, "Whoa,
Hello, future."
I am transmitting from my Galaxy S6.
We're gonna find sweet tech from dinosaurs someday. I feel it.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Dude,
Super
They were around
intelligent
so much
dinos.
looking
Dino
longer.
So much
Like,
longer. How did they
I
not?
think one of them evolved. Like one of them woke up and like, "Oh, what? Why?"
oh no,
They all couldn't have had fucking walnut brains. One of them. All right, no.
Oh, I know.
I want to go. I know.
Me too.
When my heart says I want to go
felt
there,
it.
I have to
I
stop.
felt
I
a
know
movie
where-
coming, and I had a
I know
premise.
where this is
but-
going. This is like Jurassic Park 5.
I know.
Oh,
All
good.
right.
All right. So
All right,
we gotta
but let's
stop.
get back to Falkville.
Drone stab.
He was running faster than any human I ever saw, leaping, as we mentioned, up to 9
Yeah,
feet.
possible gravity differences.
During this desperate off-road pursuit, Greenhaw claims he lost control of his truck and slid into a ditch. At which point he watched as the being slipped into the darkness, never to be seen again, leaving Greenhaw with only his lingering memories and a series of extremely controversial Polaroid photos.
Yeah.
All right. So this gets...
That's part one.
This is the thing.
yeah.
This becomes very controversial and goes into a really dark place for at least Greenhaw. But that's the encapsulation of the
Of
event
what happened,
itself.
yeah.
One man, one entity, one back road in a field,
One love.
Now, this guy...
one Polaroid, 4 fucking photos.
To live forever.
Oh, I knew it.
So this dude is the chief of police.
Yeah.
At
At 26 years old.
Admirable.
Well, back then,
I think
just,
people lived. They didn't live as long back then.
Oh, God damn it. Let's
So,
not get into it. It
just
was the
saying.
70s.
It wasn't
the
that far
lifespan was
cheaper.
just a smidge
because you guys
shorter.
are survivors. Exactly.
I was born in 72. I'm not fucking
you're a
ancient.
survivor. 26 years old for a police chief is pretty impressive. That
Oh, yeah,
26-year-old
that is-
kid.
that's
has-
impressive.
he
Well,
has
Well, I don't know exactly. I mean, it could be one of those small towns where
Still,
there's
I mean,
not a
at
big.
26
yeah,
years old,
I have
you
no
have
idea.
to
He
have
could have been a
your
legacy, like a fraternity guy.
Like, you have to have your collective shit together enough to,
You
to
absolutely
where
have to believe
well,
that.
the town council, which eventually will
Maybe.
foreshadow to that, says that he's like, yeah,
He's
you're
ready for the
you're-
job.
You're the sheriff
Yeah,
at 26 years
perhaps.
And I'll jump ahead a little.
This is
to
a
say
Labama.
that when
Well, I mean, it's at 26, he must have had enough experience or training or whatever for the council to be like, yeah, no, you're going to be the sheriff.
when investigators descended on the town not long after this event, people that were interviewed were generally saying he was held in very high esteem. He was well respected,
Yeah,
which
he's not-
also seems to confirm why he was elevated to such a position at such an early age.
Sure.
but but he wasn't known as a crackpot. He wasn't unliked.
What he's going to be facing,
It's pretty
this
harsh.
doesn't seem like the character of somebody that would put this
Their entire
on
their
the
career
line.
and reputation on the line in the town where they grew up.
Yeah.
Where they at such a young age have reached such an elevated status, the kind of thing that people work their whole lives to achieve.
Right.
He got there at a very early age, as we said, and what they're going to suggest, to foreshadow a little, is that he just pissed it all away for no good reason. But we're going to get to that when we get to it.
All right.
We're going to deal with the aftermath now.
Okay.
Unlike other witnesses of the era who were celebrated by the media, Greenhaw's experience was instantly met with skepticism, derision, and at times outright ridicule. Within months of revealing his bizarre encounter, the chief of police was terminated by the town council. His marriage fell apart due in no small part to the ceaseless ridicule heaped upon him heaped upon the now former chief by the citizens of Falkville. And just when it seemed as if matters couldn't get any worse, his family home was burned to the ground.
So when I read that, I was
That's
curious.
like Job. That's some hard shit.
That is, enjoy your boils and no meat.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it says his home was burned to the ground, was it like someone arsoned his home?
I don't know.
Performed an act of arson?
I
or,
assume that if it was arson and it was known to be arson,
Right.
that would have been reported.
Or it was just happening to be
It could have been a faulty
spat of
electrical
bad
wire.
luck,
It could have been like a serious bad luck.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Because
All right.
he just got shit heaped on him. I mean, it's a ruthless turn of events. When I say his life changed forever, it wasn't just now I look to the sky and think maybe there's something there, and he grew to a ripe old age with a star on his chest in the respect of his peers.
Yeah, this completely shattered this dude.
Yeah, it sucks.
So his home burns down, he loses everything.
The above factors, along with the usual flood of UFO conspiracy theories, have thrown kerosene on the already brightly burning flames of controversy surrounding this event, and, more to the point, give a clear indication as to why most alien contactees and eyewitnesses remain silent regarding their unusual experiences. We've talked about that before. Yeah. I really do think the vast majority of people that have encounters, we will never know. Right. Never know about it. Some ufologists believe that the Metal Man was a robotic emissary from an alien society, while skeptics maintain that the entire episode was a hoax perpetrated by Greenhaw and a nameless accomplice clad in a tinfoil costume, or perhaps more ambitiously, an asbestos fire suit.
And
which, in all fairness...
well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
when you look at these photos, it looks like a dude in an old school asbestos fire suit.
Which does not mean that's what it is.
Right. No, it looks like it.
But it does. But I have referenced a lot of asbestos suits from that era. I cannot claim to be an expert in it. I haven't found any that look precisely like it, but it's a possibility. It is also a possibility that it is a very ambitious costumer with a pile of tinfoil. But again... and we're going to discuss this more in a minute. You have to wonder, why would you sacrifice all of this integrity?
It doesn't make sense.
Especially when you're born in a small town, you're living in the house where you were raised, which is what basically I infer from the fact that it was his family home. I don't think it was just the house he bought. I think it was one he was raised in. That's speculation on my part. This is your world, and I'm not saying 73 was that much different than now, but we're a much more global and international and supranational society now. I've lived in Ohio and LA and Florida, but I call upstate New York my home, and this is where I was born. But a lot of people never, ever lived beyond the borders of their hometown.
No.
And to basically piss where you sleep does not make a lot of sense.
Yeah, not in a small, probably very conservative...
Well, it's an Alabama
southern,
town, so you'd assume,
Yeah, this is not the town that you would necessarily want to pull this in.
Yeah.
Not
speaking ill, but that's just
not at all.
Culturally, that's the deal.
It's not. It's
historically,
not
that's the deal.
Yeah.
So here's where things get a little more complex or convoluted, depending on how you want to look at it. The images that Greenhaw snapped were collected and sent for analysis by Walt Andrus, a director of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, which is still in functioning to this day.
I know. We've made reports.
Absolutely.
To them.
While photographic experts could find no evidence that the images were tampered with, some of the experts at MUFON concluded that the Metal Man was likely, not a fact, but likely, a fabrication inspired by the furor surrounding the recent Pascagoula abduction case. Now, I know I say this a lot, but we are eventually going to do this. This is a really fascinating alien abduction, but I'm just going to give you a quick encapsulation so people understand what that means. The Pascagoula abduction occurred just days before the Falkville encounter on October 11th, 1973, on a quiet riverside in Mississippi. I've actually been there to the place when we did an investigation in the Honey Island swamp monster.
Oh, no shit, you shot there too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, nice.
The incident involved 2 dock workers and a trio of necklace, wrinkled, antenna-bearing robotic entities that are not entirely unlike Greenhaw's observation of the Metal Man.
Okay, so that creates a reasonable doubt.
There are differences. There was pointy, like appendage, like a nose, basically looked like Pinocchio nose coming out where its nose would be and its ears would be.
Right.
But it also had, it had the crab-like claws. It had a lot of things that are
Is it like a weird
similar.
spiky ring around its head?
It kind of looked like it was metallic but had elephant skin.
Right.
You've seen my illustrations
of
it.
I've
probably read the article on our website. We'll do that at some point. But this got famous. These guys actually got so famous. I think it was Hickson and Parker were their names, that one of them actually ended up on The Tonight Show eventually. This was only 3 days after. So I still think it's a little shaky to suggest that 3 days after there's news accounts of an abduction in Mississippi, that this officer would put his entire reputation on the line.
Right.
To sort of, but not specifically, emulate the encounter.
Well, not to go into the other one, but did they have photos?
No.
They were fishing late at night. They were
So
sort of
it's
levitated into a
it's
UFO.
just word of mouth.
Just
But the story was so intriguing, it just got
reporters went
popular.
down there. It got very big.
Yes.
Books were based on it. I have a couple of them, but that's but we'll save that. So
No, I just wanted to know.
But the MUFON people could find no evidence that there was something wrong with photographs, but just theorized. And of course, they got to watch their back too. They can't be, credulous about everything. They have to be a little bit skeptical.
Well, that's the deal. You can't be like, oh, clearly that. Yep, there it is. Aliens.
Now, here's an interesting thing that I stumbled across when I was researching the first time, and I'm sure other people have discovered it before me, but I never encountered it. And that is, we'll include. Well, this photo is in the actual article on Cryptopia. For the Falkville Metal Man, but there's a contact sheet. Here, I'll just read what I wrote. Interestingly, the contact sheet of the photos taken by MUFON of the original Falkville Polaroids, so they're photos of the Polaroids taken by the people at MUFON, seem to show additional images of a flying saucer among them, although Greenhaw never claimed to have seen, much less photographed, the object that was initially reported. The thing that landed that called him out to the field to begin with.
So that they were taking photos of the Polaroids.
Yes.
So what I'm looking at here,
So we have
this
the contact sheet.
So okay, over on the side here, there's a series of pictures, and it looks like flying
They're
saucer,
negative images of
flying saucer, imprint,
Yes,
imprint,
some weird imprint.
and then someone's baby being born,
Yeah,
which is weird,
it is weird.
really weird.
Yeah, but the saucers are
But
like
that is shot on legitimate film, and this contact sheet has these things that were shot on a roll of film, which involve, like Mark said, flying saucers,
which is like right from
and a baby.
almost underneath it. It looks like it's.
bit,
I mean, it looks like it's real. It's like
or right above.
Oh, it's what I mean. It's almost
And this weird print, I don't know what that. So
I have no idea
no
what
one
that
can
is.
figure out why this was on the contact sheet.
But they are clearly not Polaroids.
No, I don't know what that is.
No, they're
though.
not Polaroids. It looks like just a picture. I mean, there's literally a nurse.
There's a baby.
And a baby and somebody in a flannel
this
shirt.
is like some Prince of Darkness shit.
It's weird.
You're like, all of a sudden you get this one thing, you're like, why is that there? And I'm disturbed. And it's weird.
Are we just associating them all together because of simple proximity?
Yeah.
Because they're all in the contact sheet.
That's what I'm saying. You have to.
But if you're a MUFON investigator and you're taking pictures of the Polaroids for the Falkville
investigation.
Yeah, the Metal Man, do you really going to have a picture of your fucking kids being born?
Well,
in
maybe
there?
you don't want to waste the space. I mean, you're making a contact sheet.
All
Maybe
right.
you're sending it to Bill.
Okay.
Bill wants
All
a picture
right.
of your
But
baby,
you also-
this flying saucer, and the Falkville Metal Man.
So maybe the
well,
saucers and this is all from a different case, and they just don't want to waste space because
it's a speculation on
yeah,
my part.
well, I don't think that birth is a different case.
No, well, maybe not.
That one is
Maybe
is
a
Or is
hybrid.
it? I don't like it. It's freaking. It really that freaks me out more than anything else.
There's
Because why is it there, man?
Why is there a newborn?
There's a nurse. There's like a little baby,
Like they can
and then
see it, and there's a plaid
here's
shirt.
something kind of weird. Is that
Fucking
I know
weird.
for a fact that back it would be more like when I was born in like
weird.
80, 81. My mom had a shirt exactly like that.
Is this your mom?
No.
Was your mom
birth?
there for the birth of alien Mark?
No.
Was your dad the Falkville Metal Man?
Oh my God!
Is that your dad?
And what year was this? 73. My dad was not out of high school yet.
I don't know how. Well, first off, your dad might have been super fertile in high school. We're not going to deny him that. Secondly, I don't know the gestation of a half-human Metal Man hybrid.
Yeah, if you're a hybrid,
your mom might have been impregnated in 73 and not given birth until 81.
Yeah.
It's entirely
I'm
not
not sure how
possible
old
at all.
she'd be, but it'd be weird, I think. I don't know.
Right, or maybe Metal Men give birth back in time. Oh my God! What did I just say? You get
It
impregnated
is kind
and
of
you
weird
get
though
born
when I saw that
before.
picture. One of the first things that came to my mind is a picture of my mom holding me, and she has almost like the exact type of shirt on,
yeah.
just that pattern. It means nothing to our story.
No.
Or does it?
No,
It doesn't.
Well, Chris
Right.
mentioned Prince of Darkness, so I wanted to bring it all back.
Which is a great John Carpenter film.
I know. No,
Yeah.
it's great. It's just because it's weird. You're like, what the fuck?
I don't think
It
it
is
does,
strange,
and
yeah.
here's why. Because why would Greenhaw not have reported these images? They certainly would have bolstered his case.
Yeah, so okay, maybe your take on it that they were just saving room in the contact sheet.
I think that's
that's probably what
there
it is.
is a disturbing possibility. One I do not support because these are clearly shot on film. And all he had was a Polaroid.
Well, that's the deal.
But I
Right.
did consider the thought that if he had taken photographs of the UFO and not remembered them, that could be going down the lines of like missing time and abduction.
Yeah, I like
Who knows
it.
when he came out? You know,
I like
I don't
it.
know what time he arrived at the field. I don't know what time he arrived back home.
Yeah.
But all of that is rendered moot by the simple fact that he had a Polaroid camera that is a roll of film.
Yeah.
They are
Right.
very likely not related.
Okay.
So images aside, let's wrap this up and try to break it down.
All right.
While it is impossible to ascertain with 100% certainty the authenticity of this encounter, those who investigated the case contemporaneously claimed that the chief was well respected in the community. This was evidenced, and we've just mentioned this before, not only in their testimony regarding the officer, but the fact that he ascended to the position of chief of police at such a young age. You've got to at least have some modicum of respect. While this is what is abundantly clear is that Chief Greenhaw garnered no financial gain or positive notoriety as a result of his experience, and significantly, he has never tried to monetize the experience that cost him so deeply in so many areas of his life. To this day, however, Greenhaw and his supporters insist that the images in question represent a genuine non-human entity, and that whatever it was that the chief of police encountered on that autumn evening back in 1973 was not of this world. While Greenhaw did manage, according to reports, to rebuild some semblance of a normal life after leaving Falkville, all reports indicate that he continues to regret his encounter with the Metal Man.
So is he still around?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting to like follow up, or just to see if maybe
So-
people are still talking about this with him.
The only thing that there's photographs,
Yes,
right?
4 specific
right,
photographs.
and so this is
Okay.
the only thing that really makes a difference in this. That's different because most stuff we have, there's no photographs.
That's true.
There's no photographs of the Vegetable Man, or
Just word of mouth.
yeah. So we have photographs. So you're gonna see it and you'll be like, man.
When
like,
you look at this picture, and we'll definitely have this linked, we're going to link to the article on Cryptopia where you can see the picture, you can click on it, you can blow it up, you can look at it. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
That's the tough part.
That is the
right,
tough
but
part.
unfortunately, you know, I saw this picture before reading it, so my mind already has this in my fucking head, and I'm trying to separate this,
Right.
Yes.
and everybody else's too, because it's something you kind of recognize as being a thing.
Either an asbestos suit or multiple rolls of tinfoil wrapped creatively around some coveralls. But that having been said, just because our mind's eye, and it's a pretty blurry
No, I know.
nighttime Polaroid taken under the light of high beams,
Right.
just because it seems easy to dismiss doesn't mean it is.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the times, and Chris and I were discussing this earlier, when I was very young, I was extremely skeptical of the Patterson-Gimlin footage. And the older I get, and the more technology improves, and the more that every little nuanced piece of that footage seems to expose not a hoax, but a piece of genuine biology or musculature or whatever, the more I'm more inclined to think, not 100%, but that maybe there's something to it. This looks so absurd, going back to the Falkville Metal Man, on its face. When you look at it, you're like, is it a motorcycle helmet and some tinfoil and an old TV aerial? But on the
No.
other hand, this man lost everything. His livelihood, his marriage, coincidentally his home, certainly his reputation. And he stuck with it all these years just for
No,
what? He didn't
I know,
write
it's
a
fucked
book.
up. It doesn't
He
make
didn't write a
sense.
TV show.
You know,
he didn't do anything.
What I was thinking of, and I'm not sure if this idea has been tossed out there into this case or not, but what if he took a picture of someone doing a hoax? Like maybe it's not him setting this up, but it was a bunch of kids in reference to the
No, right.
Pascagoula,
He didn't know it was a hoax because
exactly.
Right. I know.
So you're saying some kids read the Pascagoula abduction reports in the
Or even just
newspaper,
a
or saw it on the
person,
news,
yeah.
or an individual.
Because he did get a call about a UFO from a woman. I'm sure that can be that can totally be checked up on and be like,
I'm
yeah,
sure that
we
could
got
have
a
been
call.
corroborated
Yeah.
very easily.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the
Here's
word.
the one thing that shits on that theory. Kids, regardless of what costume they're in, can't jump up to 9 feet at a time or run faster than 35 miles per hour.
I'm taking that out of the equation just because of
Yeah.
if he doesn't know what he's seeing and his mind's just racing.
So you're saying the first part of the encounter, but you can't separate the first part from the second part.
Well, but
You cannot.
Oh no, but he's saying that it moved at what at a clip of 10 feet, right?
So approximately,
he's
it could
chasing
jump.
it.
No, he was saying it could jump approximately
about
3 meters in any direction.
Right.
But as he was chasing it, going about 35 miles per hour, it was outpacing him.
I'm just going strictly on the picture with what the evidence that we have that we're looking at. That if this was someone hoaxing him,
that's impossible. Here's why it's impossible. He could be perpetrating a hoax. If someone was hoaxing him, unless this kid was attached by invisible wires to a silent helicopter, there's no way in an open field someone can fake going that fast or jumping that far.
Well, that's assuming he's not making that shit up.
Well, that's of course. That's always the caveat.
So it's either he is or is not.
Yeah, well, to me, I would think that, okay, if someone was hoaxing him and he had a picture of it and they jetted, and he's seeing this, he just freaks the fuck out.
Right.
And he's in his truck and he's trying to go through the field and spot this thing or whatever. That just shit's not making sense to him.
All right. Now, granted, you're driving through a field, your car's going to bump a lot. So I can
Which could give the illusion of the person jumping.
Can totally grant that he might not have a specifically accurate assessment of how far this thing jumps or how fast it's going. What I can't indulge is that he wasn't able to catch up to it, even with all the bumps.
Miles an hour,
So even if he's inaccurately assessing the specifics of its speed and ability to leap, I don't think it's going to manage to escape him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think any kid that sees a cop, I mean, if a kid's messing around in a field, I don't know why they would be doing that, because here's the other problem that it gets into. That means that either the person that reported the flying saucer landing is a collaborator, or they had to hoax a UFO landing and then be waiting there and in a specific
that is true.
I mean, they're bored.
Road.
The kids are bored. There's no internet.
As
there's no
want
Twitter.
to be.
Yeah. Well, no, that I was thinking about that too. Is that if that was the case, then the initial call to the station about the UFO landing would have to be a part of the hoax, because they can't be like, oh guys, we're gonna fucking fake this thing and we're gonna have, so and so called about the UFO, we're gonna go out here with our tin man suit and do this. That wouldn't happen. So obviously whoever called in the UFO hoax would have had to have been in on.
And it was very random that Greenhaw actually turned down that gravel road. Like, he had already done his patrol. He saw nothing. He saw no UFO. He saw nothing. He was about to leave, and he's like, fuck it.
I mean, it seems
go down this path, and that's where he happens to see the Metal Man.
It just seems like if he did perpetrate this hoax, like, son of a bitch, at one point, wouldn't you bail out?
I 100% don't believe he did.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense that he would in any real world.
It doesn't seem like it would behoove him to do it. And again, at some point when you saw like your wife's about to leave you, wouldn't you be like, honey, fucking wait a minute.
It makes more sense that he stumbled upon something that he didn't understand, whether it was something real world,
or something he just couldn't comprehend.
The big gov got there before. And there was more than one. And
I didn't think about that.
There's more than one of these. So he sees one, and I don't understand why.
There's only
this
one
is from the light of a Polaroid, right?
And the high beams of his truck.
Okay. That's what I want to make sure.
There's only one alien,
right?
He saw.
So maybe it books into something off the field. If there's more than one, and all of a sudden it's ahead of him.
Oh, you're saying that in the field maybe there's more than one.
There could have been
these metal men,
8 or 10 of them.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. So as they're moving through the field,
it books in the field and it's way behind him. Then all of a sudden it's ahead of him. Holy shit!
But is there any?
He passes that one.
Right.
He sees the next one. Oh, it was fucking bugging. Blah, blah, blah.
Right. So, but is there anything saying that there was multiple ones there or no?
No,
there is.
No, but I'm saying
to miss anything. Okay, all right, cool.
But it's a possibility.
If there's a group of people searching in a specific thing.
Oh, I saw. Okay, you're talking like the government shows up because I'm stupid. So the government shows up because there's a downed UFO. You got these dudes in containment suits, which this really does. I mean, I have a little bit of experience with Tyvek suits, the white suits that you put on.
More than any of us.
Yeah, more than you guys.
And Chris and I have zero experience with Tyvek suits.
I use them on occasion when I have to. For purposes unknown.
Danger poop.
But this does look reminiscent of, like you said, like an old school asbestos fire suit that like probably my grandfather wore when he was a fireman, which he was in the 70s. So, or a possible, again, Tyvek, containment, some sort of suit that you might wear if there was a downed craft and you were a government in the Army going to check it out.
It's nothing is beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
It would seem odd that he wouldn't notice any military vehicles or any unmarked trucks. It's possible they could have been on the other side of the field.
Exactly.
I mean, right. I mean,
yes. I mean, it's certainly within the realm.
Yeah.
It seems like if this is a hoax, holy shit, did you totally screw yourself with this?
Oh, if he was perpetrating a hoax,
you got to pull
that's
out.
what I mean. That's why I don't feel like that's.
Why would
what
he
it is.
Now, why would he not claim to have seen the UFO? Why would he not again explain himself like you guys are saying to his wife and be like, "Baby, no, this went too far."
Because it's not like getting a divorce in the 70s is the easiest goddamn thing in the world to do.
It's never an easy goddamn thing.
Yeah, but I mean, especially in the 70s where it was highly frowned upon in Alabama.
And
I mean, anywhere,
almost
not just
everywhere.
Alabama, but anywhere.
Yeah.
And plus, you lose your job, and I don't know. It just seems like, man, if he thought that he had something to gain, he severely miscalculated it, which makes me think that he didn't do it.
I'm leaning that way like you guys. I don't know if I'm 100% like Chris is, but I am definitely more of the mind that he would have nothing, and especially just 3 days after the Pascagoula event.
Yeah,
there's no indication of how much success, like the books haven't been published yet and all the other successes. And I don't even know how much money Hickson and Parker actually made off that. But he never sold a T-shirt. He never said, "Here's the Polaroid I used to photograph the Metal Man."
That's what I mean. There's no impetus for
prints of the images. I mean, I mean, but part of that could also be maybe just had like my dad would say, a wild hair up his ass, and just thought, "I'm going to do this," and then it just all fell apart so quickly, mostly because the photographs are so goddamn laughable. And they are. But that, to me, almost makes me feel like it's more credible, because it's like, if you take those photos and your whole plan is to hoax, you have to look at them and go, "Oh, God damn it, no one will ever fucking believe this. This is absurd. We have to do this again or make a new costume."
Right.
Because if you're doing a hoax, if you're perpetrating a hoax,
the moon landing.
there's no...
Exactly.
Fair enough. There's no time limit on how long it takes. You do that shit until you get it right.
Apollo nothing.
Yeah. Apollo 0. Let's make that fucking movie.
Apollo -1.
Wow.
Apollo Kubrick.
No, I really.
Fair enough.
If I look at that and take into account what you just said, because I didn't know there was a prior incident days before.
Right. That's important.
And I look at
that
this.
was MUFON's judgment.
What
on
makes
the case.
sense is this happened, and people, the government, whatever, had to maybe investigate this. And a couple days later, maybe something happened, and so they had to get on their shit. And it would make sense to me. It makes.
So wait, are you suggesting? And I don't mean to interrupt you, Chris. That the government might have perpetrated a hoax on a local lawman to make people think
I'm saying there was
fake?
another reported thing there, so they were on their shit.
So they were
to
already
investigate
there.
this quicker.
So Chris is saying that this is military personnel in their anti-UFO get up.
I'm saying trying to make a real
UFO get up.
Radiation free in 73.
Wow. That's a good slogan.
Wasn't
it's a good
75?
slogan.
Or whatever.
It was 73.
And that's not going to wacko. That's just given the picture, given what happened before, given what happened 3 days after.
Right.
I can see where you think where that theory would have plausibility. Absolutely.
And I'm saying that he got hoaxed by somebody and it just ruined his life.
That's impossible. I really think that theory.
I mean, not really,
listen,
though.
I'm not 100% behind Chris's theory,
not
but
really
it's interesting.
that far off,
Yours
though.
is absurd as much as I love you because of this. If he just saw a guy and it looked like that and he took those photos and then that guy ran behind a tree or into a forested area and he couldn't track him down, then I'm like, yeah, Mark's right. Somebody fucked with him and he bought it because he could jump, even if it was just 7 feet in every direction.
Yeah, there's a couple
and
things.
Because he could run faster than a truck. You don't. How do you fake that?
Yeah.
I'm just because I'm taking that part of the equation.
You can't though. Removing that part of the equation is.
I mean, eyewitness.
It's like talking
testimony.
about how successful the Titanic's first voyage is because I'm removing the iceberg from the equation. That's what you're saying.
You could do that.
That's idiotic.
You could totally do that.
I would do that. We all know it was a beam from space.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't ice.
Well, look, we'll let the listeners weigh in on my scenario with that. They can let us know what they think about that. Plus,
can you
Chris's.
explain the second part though?
No, because I'm taking it completely out. I'm just saying that this dude was so freaked out that as he's going after this thing, he's
mind
a
was
fucking
doing some
mental
weird shit.
jumble. Because at what point, a 26-year-old sheriff, do you expect to turn down a road and someone's got this shit on and you're like, that's like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. When he's got the radiation suit on.
I know what you're talking about.
And he's like, holy shit.
Well,
and just kind of loses his shit.
So the other weird thing is that
Parts of it really do look
he says
like
he says they were
foil.
like young kids.
Well, he said it's the size of a
it was
kid.
the stature of a child.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what that means.
Let's assume
I'm thinking like
4 foot something.
Yeah, like my nephew, his size.
Like right now, depending, I mean, how far away that is, the length.
There's no frame of reference. There is no way to know how tall this thing is based on the photograph because there is nothing in the photograph.
No,
with
I know
it.
it's tough, but it's just
It looks like a dude.
But if he got within 15 feet of this thing,
it doesn't look like a kid at all.
Let's just all right. Look, I'm gonna go down your path, here, Mark. Let's remove the thought that he's hoaxing or lying. Let's just assume that he is Chief Greenhaw is a legitimate eyewitness. Okay. If he is, then he's a cop. He's used to observing things. I don't know how tall he is specifically, but if he gets within 15 feet of a subject, there are 2 things, again, assuming that he's telling the truth, that you just have to take for granted. One, that this thing is unusually small in stature or childlike because he said so. And 2, at just 15 feet away, but with high beams on it, it is not covered in tinfoil because I would assume at that distance he would be able to recognize tinfoil. A kid slathered in tinfoil.
Right. Yeah, you'd think.
I would think. There's no guarantee that's a fact.
It does look like a motorcycle helmet in some tinfoil.
It looks like coverall, a motorcycle helmet, a TV antenna or something.
Right.
It does. Covered in tinfoil.
Yeah.
But if we're going to take him at his word, then we have to assume he got close enough. He didn't see it. He didn't snap those photos from 75 feet away. He was within 15 feet.
That's what I mean. So I just think your perspective would have been a little different, even 15 feet away, if you're something that's that shorter than you.
Possibly.
So that's why I'm questioning. Just
there's a lot. Now
I know there's a lot. It's a Polaroid. It's dark, and there's fucking headlight.
He did mention like a jerky movement, and he also did mention mercury on nickel.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird.
Which is that light reflecting off of this suit, or is that just the suit itself moving?
Well, he also said that from every different angle, it had different reflective properties. So I assumed that this thing, as it was herky jerking doing its Japanese horror film breakdancing,
that weird noise,
and that made him think it was a wounded human being from a distance. That it's catching light from all different angles.
Yeah.
Which tinfoil would do, in all fairness.
It would. But would it look like that weird comparison that he said of mercury on nickel?
Because I have no idea what nickel polished with mercury looks like. I can't even begin to speculate.
Let's try mercury poisoning.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, there you go. I can get a couple weeks off of work.
I'm going to ask you to close up on one of the face shots because what occurs to me right now, again, taking it all as a point of, I don't know if we can see anything sticking out on the sides of the nose. What if, and this is a big fat fucking what if, what if the same things that abducted those dock workers in Mississippi 3 days before were the same thing that Jeff Greenhaw saw in that field? I mean, it was only 3 days after. They could have been on some sort of expedition.
It's in kind of the same area, really.
I mean, the skin
Mississippi
looks
and Alabama.
The same. The necklace. Well, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't matter if it was Sri Lanka and Quebec because you would presume if you can go intergalactic.
They are somewhat close to each other.
Yeah, but that's all right. Maybe that's a factor. Maybe that's not. But what if? And it's again a huge what if. This was the same damn thing, or the same species, or the same automaton that took Parker and Hickson just 3 days before. And he just happened to get lucky enough not to be. Or if he has missing time, maybe he did get abducted and we don't know. Maybe what he remembers is chasing this thing, but there was a blackout period. Maybe after he hit the ditch, that we don't, because the actual report is so lacking in detail on that part.
Right.
We have no idea if there were some ancillary things going on.
And there obviously there was no closure to this besides this dude's life being completely ruined. And I would be interested to see if he has any follow up years later with MUFON, or if he's in a documentary or talks about it or whatever.
Just like with the Patterson Gimlin thing again, or the surgeon's photo, you're always going to have people saying, "Oh, I know the deal; it never happened." And other people saying, "Well, can you prove it?" And then them not talking again. We even have something like that on our website.
Yeah, we actually on our website we have an admission of someone being like, "It's my family member that faked it," and then no proof at all.
And then somebody else saying, "Well, can you do anything to corroborate it?"
If you're going to make that claim, then you need to say, "Okay, this is my proof."
And
of it
as
being
I
faked.
have said so many times, and will continue to say so many times, it is a huge pet peeve of mine. I loathe the way the masses and the media will be so skeptical of somebody who claims to see something unusual, even though it's usually a huge risk to their own reputation to come forward. But anytime someone says, "Oh, this is fake," or I heard from my third cousin, his ex-girlfriend's, uncle, faked this thing, everyone's like, debunked. It's over.
Yeah.
To me, each side of the story demands equal evidence and equal scrutiny.
If you're gonna go on our comment section and claim that your family member in fact did this, then you need to provide proof.
Exactly.
And if you do, then okay, you're helping the cause.
I will incorporate anybody debunking something as quickly as I'll incorporate. Not everyone can prove what they see, but I'll take everyone with equal veracity, but I will not give more weight to something that appears to be skeptical just because it is.
Yeah.
But that aside, of course, there's people that come forward on either way. This guy lost so much. You would think if he lied, he would have just apologized. He would have gotten on that podium and said, "I shouldn't have done it. I was trying to bring notoriety to our small town. I thought you could lie and say I was looking for tourism and to sell some T-shirts to help us all out. I shouldn't have done it." And then maybe they would have forgiven him.
If you fuck up that bad, you can totally work your way out of it.
Yeah, and it's not even that bad. It's just it's just
you can pull the fucking pin on the secondary safety shoot and figure something out. Something. At least to the point where you can keep your...
save your marriage.
Maybe his wife was a pain in the ass and he's like, fuck it, I'm glad she's gone.
Maybe.
Who knows? And then burn the house down good, get the insurance money. Yeah, I don't want to be a goddamn sheriff anyway.
Honestly, at this point, it could be like, I lost my job, I lost my wife, I'm not going to stay here.
Yeah, fuck the house.
This. Fuck this house. Fuck this town.
If it turns out to be like he just wanted to get out of his marriage.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
So he did this whole thing.
Dude, if this is the way he got out of his marriage,
this job and
is
everything?
a fucking hyper genius.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know what I'm
I'm
going to do.
still not entirely sure that he used the best method to end a job and a marriage. But
it's quite a way to end your marriage.
He saw an opening 3 days earlier.
See ya. Yeah,
I'm doing this.
That's like the ultimate long game.
Oh my
God!
God!
Just like, I got an idea. Get the asbestos suit.
Yep.
I'm leaving
Randy,
now.
I got a plan.
I know. I got a job.
I'm escaping my horrible.
No.
And that's the other thing. There's no shortage of motherfuckers out there that claim they were fucking wearing a Bigfoot suit during a famous photo or whatever.
Hey, not for nothing.
Where's the person that says it was me?
Look,
I did it.
I pulled a Bob Anonymous.
Yes, you did.
And that picture got out on the net.
It's absolutely true.
And people looked at it and they were like, "Oh, that's a big file." I'm like, "No, dude, that's me."
When we shot the pre-pilot for the American Monster Show, when we were briefly contracted to Viacom and MTV to do a program, Mark portrayed the Sasquatch, the swamp monster,
and we had some awesome
the Honey Island
photos,
swamp monster,
yeah.
and we had photographs of it that we never for a second claimed were legit.
But people picked up on it
and put them out there
that they were real
as legitimate photographs.
And then,
that's
Rob
the deal.
and myself and our friend Mike had to go on the internet and like, "Hey, these are not real.
No.
My name is Mark, and that is a Lon Chaney suit that I'm wearing."
It was. Do you remember when Gabe Torres, great filmmaker who actually directed and wrote the pre-pilot, great feature filmmaker. When he sent over the Bigfoot suit, like the one he got at the last second in L.A.
No, I remember.
It was the rattiest, most fucked up thing ever.
It was
far enough away.
It was a kid's. It was
That's
for
what
a kid.
I mean.
Okay,
it was
the suit was for a kid. Now I'm not the size of a kid.
No, you're not.
I'm a little bit bigger. So when I put this thing on, I remember I couldn't wear. I had to get my underwear. Remember, I had to be in my underwear because my clothes, if I had like my shorts on, it was too tight. So I'm in my underwear in this mosquito-infested, not even a full swamp.
Oh no, but shitty
like
enough.
A runoff of a pond,
just scummy,
full of like just
bug-ridden,
nasty ass mosquitoes
algae
and shit.
filled.
And then I had to get these old sneakers
in upstate
New York, which is not
passing for Louisiana.
Exactly. So I had to get these nasty ass shoes on and literally go mucking around. Remember how deep the mud was?
You were knee deep in filth and rot.
I had to pull the suit up above the mud.
I remember.
So my shins were in the mud and I had to walk. And then he'd go, "Okay, now stop and come back slowly. Now turn slightly." And I kept. And the footage looks cool because it's shot from far away. But the moral of the story is...
The point is...
The photos were released on the internet, and people took them and
And when we actually put them up, we said that these are like reference shots for this project.
Absolutely.
But people took them and turned it into something that it wasn't.
And more to the point, people love to admit complicity. They love to get their 15 minutes of fame by saying, I was this person that did this thing.
Yeah.
So even if Chief Greenhaw, as I like to call him, would just for pride or whatever reason pulled this off with a buddy of his and just refused to come forward, why would this other person who has nothing close to what Greenhaw has to lose not just come forward and say, no, it was me, I did it,
right,
ruined his life?
Yep.
And nobody ever has.
Yeah.
Which, again, none of these are proof positive that something anomalous happened.
Right.
It's just people are very quick to gravitate towards the idea that it must be a hoax just because the photographs just don't look that impressive.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they are.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, even if it was, I don't think he had anything to do with it.
No, I don't think it did either.
It doesn't make sense.
But then I would go further, with the exception of what Mark said, and I know it was a little harsh on you earlier, of this, the idea that he is so panicked and bumping up and down and just misinterpreting these actions. I really feel it would be nearly impossible to perpetrate this hoax on any adult,
if that's
much less a law.
If that's what actually happened, then yes.
Right.
Then that's you can't. At that, you can't.
But even if this thing could only jump 6 feet and run 25 miles per hour, it's still fucking nuts.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, at this point, I mean, like I said, it's dark, and look, what do you see?
Again, if this dude is going down the road, he sees this, and he's got enough. What's funny is he got the picture, but never pulled his firearm.
Which also goes to indicate he didn't feel threatened. In fact, at first he wanted to assist it in case it looked like an injured human being.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, oh, what's there? He even shouted, are you a foreigner? At some point, if you remember the quote.
Are you a foreigner?
And this thing didn't make a sound, apparently. It didn't respond.
Right.
No, I am not.
Right. Nice robot voice.
You clearly are.
But what would you do? Let's take it from the perspective.
Christ,
if you're an extraterrestrial, you see this, fleshy, clothed weird thing with these brilliant lights behind it.
Right.
You're here for whatever reason. You're either an explorer or you're lost or any number of things. Suddenly it pulls out this object you don't recognize, might well be a weapon, and you're confronted with a blinding flash on top of the bright lights that are already on you.
Yeah.
Your natural reaction is to panic and leave. That's what this thing did. If this was a kid trying to perpetrate a hoax, what would he have done? I mean, if the cop pulled a gun, you'd assume he'd be like taking off his helmet and go, no, I'm faking it. But the guy pulls out a camera, and this kid or small man or woman has the wherewithal to be like, oh, I'm going to be terrified by this and run away because it's going to seem more authentic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird.
No, it is weird.
Many possibilities.
Many possibilities. Diabetes, as we always say.
Wait a minute. Well, you know what, though? This is not this can't fall under diabetes.
You can't photograph diabetes.
You cannot photograph diabetes or hallucinating on magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
No,
you can't hallucinate
So for once, those two are off the table.
Yeah, they are totally.
The Brimley is out.
Mental illness?
You can't photograph mental illness. Well, maybe if you take a CAT scan or something.
Is that like a name of a movie? You can't photograph mental illness.
If it is, I wouldn't bother to see it because that's a horrible title for a movie.
That's a fucking bummer of a film right there.
Yeah, it's sad.
That is not winning
But that's
awards.
we're not at all disparaging people who suffer from mental illness. We're just saying that there's a photograph of this thing, so it is not a lot of things that we ordinarily have to put on the table.
What are the chances?
Oh, no.
It's not what are the chances, but
it's a ghost.
Okay, so this experience happens and he reports it. I don't know the time frame of. Does he report it right after, the day after, the morning after?
We just don't.
We don't know.
Yeah.
When does this film?
Well, it's a Polaroid.
Polaroid was instant.
So it's instant.
Okay, but when does this get?
Published?
Yeah, and does it appear in the local paper?
When does he show these
it?
pictures? Does he give this report and then people start shitting on him? So the next day he's like, I need something for proof to these people because I feel like this happened.
He made it up.
So then we get into the conspiracy of the moon landing thing where it was real.
It was kind of real, but not real.
But they had to do some shit.
They had to because you can't get the goddamn film through the Van Allen belt because if an Allen belt will fucking cook it or will it?
Right.
Apparently not, but yeah.
You're right. Apparently not. But could it?
Right, apparently
Pictures of the moon suggest it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I dig what Chris is saying.
No, I can see that. I can totally
I'm not
see
saying it
that.
didn't happen.
But-
I believe 100% it happened.
Yeah.
It's a pretty convoluted thought to think that he had a legitimate close encounter
Right.
of whatever kind this would be, is the second or third, I don't know. Told people about it. They didn't buy it. So then he got the aforementioned Randy, swaddled him in tinfoil and said, "We're going to show these motherfuckers." That to me is a tough road to go down.
And
I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'm getting
I'm
out
not
of this
saying it's not.
goddamn
We don't know
marriage.
Randy. And we don't know.
And we don't know his wife.
If you're under that
No,
kind
we
of
don't.
pressure.
She could be a beast
What
or
if
an angel.
Was she in the costume? Was it a couple's
I don't know,
thing that
man.
eventually tore them
was it like
apart?
some weird
the dark
sexual thing?
secret that tore them apart.
I feel like
weird
it.
Sexual thing. With
If you're under that
It's
much
always a sexual
pressure
thing.
to keep your job and everything
Oh
because
yeah,
no one
maybe he was
believes.
about to be fired.
That's what I mean. No one believes you. So you're like, I need some kind of evidence, at least something more than my testimony.
No, I mean maybe he was about to be fired, and this was a last-ditch effort to save his job and his marriage.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
and his family home.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you'll buy the
He
after
lost it
photos,
all,
but you're going to fucking
That's-
cringe at this.
I'm just saying
well, that
there's-
is the after photos. It's
Yeah.
the reason behind the after photos.
Yeah.
God damn it, we don't know.
Okay, we have no
That's
idea.
the moral of the story.
I know.
We just don't
Normally, I'm
fucking
the
know.
one with the asshole reason. I'm trying to come up with logical things here.
Yeah, no, I'm trying.
And I
to,
like it. I do. I'm not trying to be Billy DeBunker.
I
but
think that we all
It's
agree
the
that
pictures is what makes
they
makes
are
it.
horrible
I know.
photos. They are
And
embarrassing.
you have to
Yeah,
take
they're
into
bad.
account.
They're really
If,
bad.
if we didn't have photos and we were telling the story, which would be probably,
you know
it
what?
would be a pretty nondescript encounter without the photos. in all
Yeah,
fairness.
absolutely.
But we
There's-
would all be like, "Oh yeah, maybe he saw something," and it jumped, and it ran, and
Yes.
it was
Right.
gone. But
Now there's
Or
the
maybe-
photos put a patina on
I
this.
know.
and it's
Yeah.
not.
You can't
flattering.
ignore it.
maybe what we're talking about is one guy's really bad decision.
Yeah, it could be.
It very well could be. This dude made a shit decision, and like most people that make shit decisions, they stick with it and they double down.
It happens.
and they don't.
Yeah.
they don't move. They're like, no, fuck you. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
goddamn proof. And even as his wife leaves and the goddamn the house is burning and all this shit, he's like, I don't give a
real.
shit.
It
It's real.
happened. Yeah.
But again, I don't know his character. I've never met him. I'd like to talk to him.
He was well respected.
He was well respected.
Yeah,
So-
no, something happened. I believe
We
that.
have to agree that this is either the most horribly gone awry hoax in history, pretty much, except that those that result in death, or it was a legitimate encounter with a creature that unfortunately looks so fucking ridiculous
That when you
that
see
a
it,
man
you're like-
lost his life because
Yeah,
of it.
when you see it, you're
everything
like,
but
you
his
can't
actual
be
life.
real because you look that so goddamn silly.
Yeah.
You silly,
No,
silly
there's,
son of a
there's
bitch.
gray area. We went over lots of gray area.
Yeah, no,
between
there's
those
gray
two.
areas there. Again, I'm another one of my theories. I know it's not popular with Robert, but it could have been a hoax perpetrated on him at some point. Things with
I really don't think it's a hoax. I think there's
I don't think so
actually
either.
somebody else was involved and he thought it was something that it wasn't.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, I mean a hoax played on him.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it was, like I said, there's some
like-
intervention of government, something.
Oh, yeah, the goddamn MIBs.
It's a
I
possibility.
just think I think he saw something.
The Men in Silver.
Yeah, something
that he
saw
didn't
something
know
he
what
shouldn't
it
have
was.
saw.
It's hard to tell. It is hard
All
to
right.
tell. I just think that, boy, this guy really
Yeah, it sucks.
fucked up.
Either way, it sucks.
Either way, dude,
It
it
sucks
him.
he faked
Dude,
it,
yeah.
and
Man, even if it was a fake and,
and
you
if
did,
he
and you did
didn't-
hoax it, I feel bad the dude lost everything.
oh, he got screwed
Yeah,
so
it
bad.
sucks.
If you just decided like I'm not going to call my deputy or whatever chief has some other officer and say,
Right.
you go out and check it out. I'm gonna take this one on my own. I'm gonna leave whatever TV show I'm watching and my wife, and then just thought, I saw this thing. I took a photo. I thought I had proof. It was an amazing thing that happened to me, and oh boy, everything went down the shitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that
exactly.
happened, if it is all legit and he got fucked completely, he must be the most bitter human being.
Yeah, it sucks.
on Earth.
Yeah, it
no, I
sucks.
do. Yeah, that sucks. I feel for the dude. All right, cool. So there you have it. That is our.
a blimp.
It's a blimp. Yeah.
Clearly,
Goddamn.
yeah.
Fucking blend.
This one
It's a
time, I
blimp.
agree. Yep, I think we're all in agreement.
That
here.
is our take on the Falkville Metal Man. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Going to be available on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio coming soon. Might already be on our iHeartRadio when this episode comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
We're
Wicked.
going to have an Alexa skill coming for all you fella Alexa users because let's just say fuck it and give all of our information to the government while we can.
Sure, why not?
Just listen.
While we still have some free will, let's give it up.
Your children
Yeah,
now
I'm in.
for
I'm
the
in
new
with
world
it.
order. My kids spent most of the afternoon screaming at Alexa.
Yeah, enjoy
It's kinda
technology
fun.
until Putin turns it off. So have fun.
Look, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's no big deal.
your next president, Putin.
It's going to work. Everything's going to be good. There you have it. Find us on social medias. Leave ratings and reviews. And we're talking to you soon.
He who walks behind the rose.
Oh, my God.
Malachi.
What was this a field of? If it was poppies, that explains a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't
does,
dreams, clearly.
No.
Dreams and whispers. Poor Greenhaw.
Field of failure.
Oh, feel the
Good night,
despair.
everybody.
If you build it, you will lose.
I know, they will not come.